Students, today let us discuss Restoration Age in literary terms. Restoration Age is from 1660 to 1700 in the history of English literature. The period from 1660 to 1700 is an important period not only in the history of English literature but also in the history of England. Why it is important? Because from 1649 to 1660 England was a commonwealth and the Puritans dominated the English society, English religion. But in 1660, Charles II, who was in exile in France, was recalled and he was made the King of England. As monarchy was restored and Charles II was again made the king in 1660, the age from 1660 is called as the age of restoration. There were a lot of restrictions on the social and religious life of the people in the society during the Puritan age from 1649 to 1660. After Charles II was restored to the throne in 1660, there was a lot of change in the society. The restrictions that were imposed earlier were removed by Charles II, and so there was a lot of impact on the society. And this impact has also brought a lot of social, religious, and literary changes among the circles of the English society, especially the rich aristocratic English society. The Restoration Age, both in literature and in general sense, was a reaction against the strict and strong moral principles imposed by the Puritan rule from 1649 to 1660. The people felt as if they had got freedom. It also has a negative impact on the society. The aristocratic society, which enjoyed more freedom from 1660, was full of immoralities. There was adultery, illicit relationships, and rampant indiscipline among the society. As there was no restrictions imposed by the monarchy, the social life was in a state of confusion, especially among the aristocratic class. But on the other side, in the literary field, there was a lot of freedom. The writers were able to express their thoughts in a free manner. During the Puritan age, there were restrictions on press, writings, and expression. But during the Restoration age, that restrictions were removed and the writers were able to express their thoughts very freely and happily without any fear. And another important thing that occurred during the Restoration age was the growth of urban life. So, as there was growth of urban life, prose writings and wit began to occupy a very important place in the literary pieces of the writers. Another most important feature of the Restoration age is the imbibing of the French manners and French fashions and French culture into the English society. As Charles II was in exile in France during the Puritan age, when he came back in 1660 and assumed the throne, he brought some French courtiers along with him, and they spread the French manners, the French fashions, and French cultures into the English society, into the court, and also into the aristocratic society who are more dominant during that age. Coming to literature, as there were no restrictions on literature, it was mainly concerned with the interpretation of the human nature, understanding of human nature, how they react to the various problems in the society. During the Puritan age, there were many restrictions on literature. So, when these restrictions were removed, the literature began to represent the exact picture of the society. There was no imagination. But on the other side, as there was no imagination, creativity also suffered a lot. There are some exceptions, like John Dryden, who wrote with a lot of creativity, but creativity suffered a lot as less importance was given to imagination. Only realism and exactness was given importance. But on the other side, as objectivity and exactness was given importance, scientific outlook gained precedence. Scientific thought and expression found a lot of place in the writings of the writers of the Restoration age. Prose, poetry, and drama were the three major literary forms that gained precedence during the Restoration age. As we know, John Dryden was the prominent and the most important writer of the Restoration age. But it is not good to restrict John Dryden only to the Restoration age. He is the pioneer of English literature, and he is the one of the topmost writers in English literature. That is why Johnson commented on Dryden that Dryden found the Restoration literature in brick and left it in marble. That means it was in shambles when Dryden took up the mantle of writing literature, and when Dryden left it, it is in marble. It shone like anything. It rose to new heights, Restoration literature. That is why Dryden is the one of the most prominent writers, not only in Restoration age but also in English literature. His Astra Redux, which he wrote when Charles II assumed throne, was restored to the throne in 1660, was a masterpiece. His other important writings include Absalom and Achitophel, Religio Laici, The Hind and the Panther, and his critique on poetry, essay on dramatic poetry are some of his masterpieces. John Bunyan is another important writer of the Restoration age and a contemporary of John Dryden. John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress and Grace Abounding are two masterpieces which stand tall in the English literary history. John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress is seen as a precursor to the modern novel. And during the Restoration age, another important literary figure is William Congreve. He popularized the Restoration drama, which is also called as comedy of manners. He is one of the best and finest writers of the age. In Restoration drama or comedy of manners, the subject matter was the fashionable intrigues, sex, marriage, and adultery, and all the confusion that prevailed in the aristocratic society. William Congreve and other Restoration dramatists made a mockery of all these bad features among the aristocratic society, and he tried to rectify the follies and foibles of the aristocratic society through his restoration drama or the comedy of manners. William Congreve's Way of the World, Love for Love, and The Double Dealer are the best examples of restoration drama. To look at the other writers of the Restoration age, William Wycherley, who wrote The Country Wife, a famous piece or restoration drama, is a prominent writer. George Etheridge, George Farquhar, and Vanbrugh are other important writers of the restoration drama or the genre called the comedy of manners. In this way, restoration drama tried to rectify the problems in the aristocratic society, and it left a mark in the English literature. All in all, Restoration age is an important part in the history of English literature. Thank you.